Hello, my little goblins, and you know what? We're playing a special deck. I hope you guys subscribe and like the video because I spent my life savings building this deck. This deck is ridiculously expensive, but it's the new Dracoslayer cards. Just to give you an idea why I had to craft for this deck, I had to craft the odd eyes. I had to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had to buy one of these structure decks so I can get Sork. I had to, what else did I have to craft? I had to get both of the Ignisters, I had to get the Dino Power, and I had to get the Magister Paladin. So, yeah, it was expensive. But we're going to talk about whether it was worth it or not. But pretty much this is what I feel like is one of the more optimal lists you can play with Dracoslayers. I do not like Sloth. I seen DK made a video with Sloth. I think Sloth is okay, but in a meta where so many decks are playing Bestials, Sloth feels very bad. Because boom, you use Seal, they Bestial your Seal, and then boom, you got nothing. You got nothing. Now the only way that doesn't happen is if you go Necro Valley, so they can't Bestial your Seal. But again, like I said, I don't like playing. I just felt like it was a bit bricky. But it is, if you want to play the Sloth version, go ahead. It still works. The end boards are just a lot different. Now we're going to show you how to do the end board for this deck, and the end board for this deck is pretty gnarly. So I hope you guys are ready for that. I'm going to go right into a combo guide, and then we're going to go into some games, and then the recap. Hello, and welcome to the combo guide, and we're going to show you the basic combo for this deck. And for that, the basic combo is going to require you to get Ignis. And since we have Raccoon is in the deck because it lets you search Majestate. There we go. Or we're just going to call them by their colors. So we got Pinko. Pink Girl. Now with this combo, right, this combo kind of does everything, but you got to be careful. You try to have to bait Ash if they have it, because Ash kind of bricks you up, so not in a good way. You're going to activate Pegasus here, and this will, normally you would grab like probably like Luster or the Parallel, depends what you're missing. So we're going to pop the Ignis. Ignis effect triggers. It lets us special summon this out of the deck, boom, and now we can use its effect to grab either Necro Valley or Sky Iris. In this case, we're going to grab Sky Iris so we can do some sick, cool plays. And then we're going to also send a Dynamite card to the graveyard. And yeah, from this point on, it gets a bit easier, I would say. First things first, I think we do this. We're gonna go into Electromite. And technically you don't really have to go on Electromite like first turn that often. But in this situation with the cards we have, I think it does make sense. So I was gonna go in Sorcerer, then Sorcerer's effect triggers. Sorcerer summons, and then we get to add Ignis to hand, and we draw, and now we're gonna go into Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum is going to set up our scales. We are gonna grab Boy 1. So we're gonna set that down, and realistically we can yeah, we can set this here. We're gonna get rid of it with Sky Iris later, but don't worry about that right now. We can summon both Majesties out, and let's just summon our whole hand. Seems wild, but we don't really care about the discarding anymore. This is kind of just better at this point. First things first, we're gonna go into the XZ. The XZ is going to allow us to... This search happens at the end. Now we go here. We don't want to really get rid of green. If you do get rid of green, you gotta summon back green, so... It's not the end of the world if you get rid of it, because this card lets you summon. From here, I'm actually just going to summon... Let's just say summon an Ignis. And then you can go into purple. And then Ignis, green's effect activates, which lets you grab either pink or luster, or just pretty much grabbing follow-up. I'm going to grab pink. Yeah, so from this point on, we have a card in the graveyard. Remember, we threw there. But more importantly, we have this spell. We also have a spell in the graveyard, but sometimes you don't have a spell in the graveyard. So the weird thing with Selene kind of has, this is where Secret Village might be better, but I just keep playing its tier limit over and over and over, so I kind of like the Necro Valley, the extra layer of protection. But Selene's a weird card because with Necro Valley, you get the charges, but you can't actually use the Selene to summon from the graveyard, so it's a little annoying, I will say that. So we're going to activate Selene's effect. Yup, and this is going to grab the one from the graveyard. Now we can activate Dynamacia power, and this is going to grab the one from the graveyard. And now from here, you can go Dweller, which is what I like to go, which you can kind of see that if you were playing... I guess if you were playing Secret Village, like, it'd be way better to have, like, Dweller on the, with Secret Village, right? So, definitely you can look into doing that. We're gonna actually pop this Ignis. This is gonna grab us Revolution. So if you do not have a Revolution in the graveyard, you have to grab Revolution. And then Revolution is gonna grab the Arc Pendulum. I know this sounds convoluted, but it gets easier with practice. You're probably going to suck ass at this deck when you first play it. Just being real with you. We're going to activate this. And honestly, this is a misplay. Because since we don't have Necro Valley on the field, right? Before you do that, you probably want to go into Apollousa. And the way you should go into Apollousa, actually, I'll just show you, is you should just do this. You should have done this before that. And the only reason I'm saying that is because if your opponent has a Bestial, you get cucked there. It's like really annoying. It's not impossible, but it's just really annoying. Now we can put Revolution here. The Revolution's effect activates. You can bring back Ignister or whatever. And then this card's effect can activate. And we can summon another card. We'll just summon... What does Vortex Dragon need? Vortex Dragon just needs... 1 Odd Eyes and 1 Pendulum. So we'll just summon this out of the deck. It's fine. It does kind of make Duelist Alliance dead, so kind of don't want to do that most of the time. But for this... So this is actually really important too, because if you're playing the Secret Village and you went for Secret Village... for this final search, you would be searching for the spellcaster, right? So that's actually kind of important. So you guys do. So we're gonna activate Performing Pal Odd Eyes. We're gonna go to Vortex. You could use this card, but we don't need to. You can just keep the scales for later, assuming your opponent doesn't immediately scoop, and they somehow break our board. I'm not really sure how they do it, but maybe they do. And finally, we go into Hope Harbinger. So, why is this board so lethal? First things first, it does this particular setup does get annihilated by Super Volley, which is not a good feeling. But if you went Secret Village, it wouldn't get annihilated by Super Poly. Necro Valley, it would still get annihilated, but most of the decks that play Super Poly a lot of them have don't like their graveyard being interfered with. So at least you would have a backup. So we're gonna activate Abyss Dweller on our opponent's start of draw phase. We get some follow up here. You can use this to even just grab. Let's just grab this card. It's a nice follow-up. Let's get into some games and see how this works in practice. Hello, we're here with game number 1. I just want to explain. So this deck, this is the only game we have with the subpar version of the deck. So just remember, Sloth is like, we're not playing the Sloth Seal combo or anything like that. We're not playing Ash Blossom either. The only reason I'm showing this is because it's a good game showing what Dracoslayer can do, but it's the only game that is using this older deck, and like I said, this older deck was way worse than what we have currently. So but still, like again, pretty good replay. So we end up going into Prominence. Prominence is going to summon the Pendulum. We go into Electromite, pop, there's Sorcerer. Sorcerer searches for Ignis. We draw the Raccoon for turn, and now we're going to add the Odd Eyes. Boom, boom, boom. We add Majesty. So a lot of the times, just to let you guys know, I know you guys probably heard this in the combo guide, but you want to use this for the tribute for the fusion, because he gets an effect off of it. So, and now Sky Iris is going to let us get Revolution. Revolution is going to let us grab Arc Pendulum, which is going to let us do the fusion. There's a 3-mat app. Boom, we're going to activate the card. And this is why you go into Apollousa before doing this, if you think they have a Bestial monster. If you had 2 Bestial monsters, this would have been really, really rough for me. But he didn't, so we're amazing. Boom. There's Vortex, there's Dweller, and there's Hope Harbinger, and then boom. This is like pretty much the end board you want to be making. This actually works out perfectly, but like I said, this does lose the Super Poly, but we have Dweller, which doesn't matter that we don't. It doesn't matter that much that we don't have Necro Valley. So there's a Dweller. He activates Havness. I'm kind of an autopilot. This was like near the end of the stream. And I was kind of like a little tilted from the stream, so I just negate this Havness. Honestly, the negate doesn't come up, so it doesn't really matter. The unfortunate thing is all these decks play Fenrir, and Fenrir is really freaking annoying, so you have to pop the Fenrir. So just like when he uses the effect, just pop it with the Vortex. You have to get off the board. This guy activates his Ruse Worm. We don't care, because graveyard effects are negated anyway. We redirect his attack. And it is pretty much GG. So, and he scoops it up. Because tier can't really do too much when they don't have any tier cards on the field. So, yeah, it's going to be an easy one for us. Hello, we're here with game number 2 and playing against Roman Games. He does game. Joker's a really nice card to open because it does let you get a free Revolution Dragon, which means you do not have to go Sky Iris. Also we opened all the cards anyways. Our hands, honestly, our hand's good because we have all this, but like, it's kind of bricked up at the same time. We're going to do this to pop the Ignis. Ignis is going to special summon. And this is typically a board you want to do when you are... Oh, never mind. I thought I was going to go Baguska Pass, but it seems like I'm a psychopath. And I honestly respect myself for it. Like the video and leave a comment down below if you say Fatsoid. Very respectful playing into the Max C. And we just summoned 5 monsters because Pendulum summoning is fair. We go into the Dracoslayer boss monster. He's gonna Drew's Worm, Revolution Dragon, which normally is a pain in the ass, but that's why you have Ignis. You can use the Ignis effect to pop the card, so it's not the end of the world. Here we go. Adds the Ignis back to hand. We're gonna pop. Go back to the deck. Here we go. Fusion, fusion. Boom. We go into IP. So we're going into IP just to clear up space, to be completely honest. It's kind of a sad existence we live in. So now we could use the Dynamist power. And our opponent chains 30 cards. It's a good thing he didn't really whiff. He did hit one card, but if he hit two cards, we were kind of fucked. We used our last negate. Now we have a 0 mount Apo. Pretty awesome. And we Necro Valley. So, yeah, pretty annoying. And our opponent's going to super poly our cards away. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. There's Dracoslayer. It's alright. There's no way I can lose this game. Oh, wait. He super polys again. Yeah. Pretty interesting, honestly. The Necro Valley might solo, though. So our opponent actually could have won this game, and you're gonna see how he loses. He attacks with Dracoslayer so he could do the most damage. If he attacked with Baguska into this and went into Zeus and then Zeus the board, that was his out. But he decided to do whatever the hell this was, and he's gonna get punished severely for it. So now we're gonna use Ignister's effect. We bait out the Soliac. We play Raccoon. Raccoon searches for Majesty. Then we go into Beyond the Pendulum. He's gonna activate Baldrake, but it's alright. We got the search. We need to get these cards out of the way, so it's really not that big of a deal. I guess I could have just went to combat and killed this first, but oh, and this is hilarious. He activates Snow because, you know, ape mode. He went ape mode, and since he can't banish from the graveyard, he has to banish on the field in hand. So he just got rid of every 7 cards for me. I was like, oh, that's pretty nice of him. And then I just go into Ignister. He imperms it, so I can't really do too much more now. So we just attack. Bam. Bam. And he's just going to pass. I was going to go into Baguska and just pass. So, yeah, it's a GG. Hello, we're here with game number 3 against blank name. This guy's unknown. He's like, you guys ever played Super Smash Bros. Or Mr. Game & Watch? It's kind of what it reminds me of. Just the fully black character. So this is actually hilarious. So this is the argument for, yes, Secret Village is better, right? Probably better in the deck for your end board combo because you won't get super polyed and shit. But I'm gonna say this: there's not many decks like Necro Valley's like a 1 card like shuts down a lot of decks. There's a lot of decks that just can't play through it, and that's part of the thing I like about it. So he activates Coup Clock. He goes into Late Lady. So this deck definitely can play through it. But I am going to say this. It's going to ruin all his furniture pieces. His furniture pieces are pretty much non-existent. Caldo's non-existent. This card doesn't work. I'm not sure why he activated Coup Clock and then nothing else. Kind of sussy. A little sussy. I never found out what this card was. But I'm assuming he couldn't activate it due to either to the Necro Valley. I'm just gonna assume because like why wouldn't you activate it? He's gonna maxi me again twice, right? Why not? But now since I can OTK my opponent, I'm just like fine. I'm just gonna stomp this little ass out, dude. Fuck this guy. I'm so tired of getting fucking my hassle work by this fucking roach. Sorry, pardon my language. I'm just angry. I'm angry right now. There goes that. Boom. There comes the pendulum summons. Here comes the second one. Bye-bye. Fuse. And now we bounce the last card. There. Here comes the power. He imperms me. Damn it. But now we just beat your ass in. Like I don't even understand like his logic behind this, to be completely honest. But it's gonna be a GG for him. Get annihilated. I like making people suffer when they double max me personally. Hello, darkness, my old friend. So we are playing game number 4, and it is looking bleak. I'm not gonna lie. He starts to counter trap and then sets 3 or sets 4. Yeah, it's a little spooky. So this card, if you guys do not know what Soul does, it says fuck Pendulum deck. So not very good for us. But we have a lot of gas in our hand. So we activate Odd Eye, we add the Luster. We added Luster, by the way, because we're trying to just kill him. Like, we're just trying to out... He's not 4k life points, we're just going to try and, like, kill him. Or at least out everything that he's got going here. Necro's not going to help us here. So here's Kentagrina. And now he's able to use that trap, remember, because we played a spell, which is the Pen Zone. And now he has Crystal Clear Wing and Brave Eyes Pendulum. I'm going to use Charge to grab a card. So I actually did this to see if I could bait this. I also did this so I can grab this and play this. If I played this, he would know I have 2 in hand. But now since he thinks I have 1, he's more apt to negate it. So now we play Lester. He plays Sonic. I'm saving this triple tactic because we knew about the Sonic. There we go. And now we activate the triple tactic. We take the Kentagrina. So remember, it's not targeting. He doesn't know what we're gonna grab. So yeah, we grab the Kentagrina. And if you guys argue, he could use Kentagrina to go into Rexstrom. Oh well, if he did that, I would have took Rexstrom. So I don't know where you're going with this. So that's kind of what we're doing. So yeah, we took this, and now we're pretty much probably gonna use this card to go into one of our Pendulum cards. And start extending the board. But yeah, he ends up scooping because he's a crybaby. But I'm honestly not even sure how we outed all that. I think it's just because he was so aggressive with his negates. We're here with the 5th and final game against SSSSS. Or S. Our hand's actually cracked. So yeah, our hand's on actual steroids actually. Here we add the Luster Dragon off of that. Boom. There's that. Boom. We're going to special summon this. There we go into Ignister. Then we grab that. So I'm going to say this before I even start moving forward. This deck is a lot of fun to play. It's just a little frustrating when you play against tier over and over and they have like the out to your cards. But like I said, maybe if I wasn't, instead of playing Necro Valley, I was playing Secret Village, maybe this would be better, but I don't know. Like, one of the biggest tilting things about Necro Valley is it automatically hoses tier, right? But the other annoying thing about it is my opponent who's playing tier always manages to have Heartbeat in hand when it's a 1-of in their deck. So it's just, Heartbeat outs the Necro Valley, so I'm just like, I cry. But at least we have Dweller backup plan. If tier wasn't this strong, we could probably do different things, but that's the reason why we do what we're doing. But here comes the Ignister. If you're wondering why I did that, I need to clear up zones for the Arc Pendulum. So yeah, and now this lets me go into this fusion summon to Vortex. Activate, bring back another Ignister. Why not? Get 30 of them. Here's a 3 Matt Appaloosa. We're big chilling here. We don't go into Dweller here, but we do end with Necro Valley, which is pretty much the same thing as Dweller. I think I'm pretty sure he scooped. I looked at his deck list because he just didn't have an out to it. He was playing tier. So if he had like 1 spell out, like Heartbeat, or like even 2 spells, like Evenly Heartbeat, we still have protection against it. So it was a GG. Hello and welcome to the recap. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. It helps out greatly. We pump out videos especially when new releases happen, so you guys get deck lists before anyone else, at least so you have an idea. This is a deck list I wanted to make solely for the reason I didn't see anyone putting up a Dracoslayer list. And all the lists I've seen seemed a little kind of wonky. So that's why it took me so long to actually like flesh the list out. Like I said in the video multiple times, Like, the only thing I will say is, like, you might want to think about switching Necro Valley with Secret Village, which would be this card, which if you have a spellcaster, they can't activate spells, because it does protect you against Super Poly, which is a relatively common card that, like, you have Branded playing, you have Tearlaments playing, so but like I said, Necro Valley does kind of the job too, but it's just something to think about. Also, join our Discord. Our Discord link is down below. We host tournaments every Friday, so if you're watching this on a Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, we are going to be hosting a tournament with a rule set, which is pretty neat. So come on by. Let's talk about how the deck performed, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The first version of this deck, when I was playing the Sloth, I think a little bit of it was a pilot issue, because I was still getting a little used to the deck. But the deck just was a brick machine. We were playing 3 Max C, 3 Ash, and stuff like that. And we just bricked so many games in a row. I think, personally, that this deck plays better. And I know there's people out there that's going to say, this deck is 2-card combo. That's why you get to play all the hand traps. Dude, it's not going to matter if you don't draw any of the 2-card combos. At least with, like, the version we have built here today, that it increases the odds of us actually seeing those cards. And you've seen that, like, I was actually, like, even without hand traps and going second, I was still able to play around a bit of stuff. If you guys really want to replace Imperm for Max C, you can go for it. I'm so used to Max C just not resolving that I just prefer not to play it. Call by and Necro Valley is kind of a non-bow, right? Because if you have Necro Valley, you can't call by. But for the most part, call by is just like for when you're comboing. Your Necro Valley usually near the end of your combo anyway, so it's kind of negligible. Also, call by is just a great card when your opponent, let's say, Havness you and they hit Kelbeck, or they hit one of their tier names off the Havness, then you can call by it. Or it's Max C, you can call by Max C. The Ash, you can call by Ash. There's a lot of uses, obviously, for the card. And also, it's a spell, and the spell does help with the counters for Selene. But another thing, too, if you have Secret Village, you don't have to worry about the conflicting interest with Necro Valley and Selene. Because obviously, you can't really... You can technically use Selene... Actually, I think Selene just gets negated, because it says graveyard or hand, so I think it just gets negated. So yeah, it's kind of a non-bow. Which is why we have to use Selene activation before the Necro Valley. What I actually think about the deck, like this version of the deck, we were able to climb 2 ranks with it relatively fast, like an hour 30, maybe, yeah, probably like in an hour and a half. We climbed 2 ranks. And the deck, I don't know, I think it performed pretty well. But do I think it's the best possible version? I think for right now, I think it's the best I can foresee for now. Yeah, it's definitely the best I can foresee for now. There might be versions that come out in the future that might be a little more polished, just from like people playing with the cards. Because you got to remember, even though you might go and see like people playing in the TCG with these cards or something, like it doesn't translate that well sometimes to Master Duel. Because Master Duel has your opponent, playing the game. Like your opponent actually like has hand traps, or they have bestials, which absolutely bone you with when you play seals. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Do I think the deck's worth building? So it's going to be a tough one to say that, because okay, so if you are a pen player, you like playing pendulums, I think it's worth playing, because you might have a lot of these cards anyway. Like, pretend you played Odd Eyes before, so you had all the Revolutions, you have, like, Electromite with Beyond, and who knows, maybe you're an Ignister player, and you have the Prominences already. Like, I'm not sure, but if you're starting from scratch, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty rough to build. It's a lot of dust. It's a lot of URs you need. It's a very expensive deck. I think there is a lot more decks out there that are cheaper and better, but the deck is very fun. So if you want to play on the fun scale, I would say it's a fun deck. It'll be worth building for fun. If you want to build on the winning scale, it's still good at winning games. You can hit Master 1 with it, but you can hit Master 1 with a cheaper deck, is what I'm going to get at. So, and there's some decks that are cheaper that are just better too. So, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this deck a solid 8 though. Like I was, if you asked me, and with the other deck I had, I would have gave it like a 7, but I'm gonna give this like an 8. This could climb to an 8.5, but I think I need to just keep playing it more and maybe flushing it out. But this current iteration I have here, I'm gonna give an 8, and on a tier list, I'm gonna put this at like, I'm gonna put it at tier 4 or 3.5. I think it's close. I think it's close there. It's getting there. It's probably a rogue deck. You're not going to see it this much. You are not going to see this deck that much because this is like Dynamorphia, like where it's like expensive to build. You know what I mean? So it's actually a good comparison. It's like Dynamorphia. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions about the deck, join the Discord, and you guys can @ me in the Discord. Or you can ask Wotan too. Wotan is one of my mods, and he is very, very knowledgeable. He knows way more about pendulums than I do because he plays it almost exclusively, I would say. He plays other decks too, but he plays pendulums a lot. So he definitely knows a bit more when it comes to pendulum as an, I guess, archetype. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video though, and let me know what you guys want to see next. All right, goodbye.